The Galactic Council's message had been clear. Send your weakest warrior for the ritual combat. It was meant to be ceremonial, they explained, a formality to welcome humanity into their confederation. The opponent would be similarly weak, a symbolic gesture of peaceful integration. Ambassador Chen stared at the holographic display, showing Earth's potential candidates. Elite soldiers, enhanced operatives, cyber warriors with reflexes faster than thought itself. All of them would be considered gods of war by most galactic standards, but the Council had specifically requested Earth's weakest combatant. Sir? Lieutenant Rodriguez peered over Chen's shoulder. The transport leaves in 6 hours. Who are we sending? Chen rubbed his temples. How do you explain to alien civilizations that humanity's concept of weak might not align with theirs? How do you tell them that even Earth's weakest warrior could probably level a city block? Get me Thomas McKenna, Chen said finally. Rodriguez blinked. The old man from the VA hospital? Sir, he's 93 years old. Exactly. Thomas McKenna shuffled onto the transport ship, his walker's metal feet clicking against the deck plating. His service uniform hung loose on his diminished frame, metals clinking softly with each labored step. The young soldiers escorting him exchanged uncertain glances. You sure about this, Gramps? Asked Corporal Willis not unkindly. Thomas's roomy eyes fixed on him with surprising intensity. Son, I've been sure about very few things in my life. But I've learned that sometimes the best weapon isn't the sharpest blade. It's the oldest one that's seen the most battles. The journey to the neutral station took 3 days. Thomas spent most of it sleeping, though the soldiers noticed he never seemed truly unconscious. His eyes would snap open at the slightest unusual sound, and twice they caught him cleaning an ancient sidearm that regulations said he shouldn't even possess. The Zephyrian delegation was waiting in the combat chamber, a circular arena with energy barriers for spectator protection. Their chosen warrior was impressive, 7 feet tall with chitinous armor plating and forearms ending in razor-sharp claws. Muscles rippled beneath its exoskeleton as it performed practice strikes that left gouges in the reinforced flooring. This is their weakest? Ambassador Chen whispered into his comm. The Zephyrian ambassador, a crystalline being that communicated through harmonic vibrations, responded with what their translator rendered as amusement. Young Kree has never won a combat trial. He brings shame to his clutch, your elder. He is truly your species' most feeble warrior? Chen watched Thomas being helped down from his hover chair, the old man's hands shaking as he gripped his walker. In terms of raw physical capability, absolutely. The arena fell silent as the two combatants faced each other. Crix towered over Thomas, who barely reached the alien's mid-torso. The old veteran stood swaying slightly, appearing to struggle just to remain upright. Begin! The arena's AI announced. Crix immediately charged forward, all forearms extended, claws gleaming under the arena lights. The attack was blindingly fast enough to bisect most beings before they could react. Thomas McKenna didn't move. At the last possible moment as the claws descended toward his head, the old man shifted his weight. Just slightly, just enough. Crix's momentum carried him past, off balance. Thomas's walker, which had seemed like a mobility aid, swept upward in a precise arc. The hidden vibroblade built into its frame activated for just a split second, long enough to sever 3 of Crix's forearms at the joints. The Zephyrian warrior crashed to the ground, hemolymph spurting from his wounds, his remaining arms scrabbling uselessly at the arena floor. Thomas stood over him, no longer shaking, no longer appearing frail. His eyes held the cold calculation of someone who had spent 7 decades perfecting the art of staying alive. Rule 1, son, he said quietly, though his voice carried clearly through the silent arena. There's no such thing as a fair fight. There's only winning and dying. He reached down and, with surprising gentleness, applied pressure to specific points on Crix's exoskeleton. The bleeding stopped almost immediately. Rule 2. Your enemy is never who you think it is. Sometimes it's the universe itself. Sometimes it's your own assumptions. And sometimes it's the scared kid inside who forgot that survival isn't about being the strongest. It's about being the smartest. Thomas straightened slowly, his body resuming its elderly posture as medical teams rushed to tend to Crix. The young Zephyrian would live. Though he'd need extensive regeneration therapy, the crystalline ambassador's harmonics had shifted to what the translator struggled to render as profound respect mixed with terror. Your weakest warrior, it vibrated, has defeated our champion in mere seconds.
How is this possible?
Ambassador Chen smiled grimly. You asked for our weakest warrior. Thomas McKenna has arthritis, a failing heart, and can barely walk without assistance. By every physical metric, he's exactly what you requested. But he's also a survivor of the Proxima campaign, the siege of New Geneva, and the Battle of Europa Station. He spent more years in active combat than your warrior has been alive. You wanted our weakest body. You got our strongest mind. The ambassador's harmonic shifted again. And your strongest warriors? Chen's smile turned predatory. Would you really like to find out? Later, as Thomas was helped back to his hover chair, Corporal Willis approached him with obvious awe. How did you know exactly where to strike, Gramps? The old veteran's eyes twinkled with something that might have been mischief. Son, I've been fighting aliens for 70 years. Different species, same anatomy lessons. You just have to know where to look. But the blade in your walker? Son, Thomas interrupted, patting the young soldier's shoulder with a gnarled hand. Rule 3. Never go anywhere unarmed. Not even to a ceremonial combat that's supposed to be friendly. As their ship departed the neutral station, Ambassador Chen received a priority message from the Galactic Council. The formal ceremony of integration had been expedited. Humanity's application for full membership was approved effective immediately. No further combat trials would be necessary. Thomas McKenna slept peacefully during the journey home, his walker resting beside his chair, its hidden blade safely retracted. In his dreams he was young again, but he still fought like an old man, smart, dirty, and with the absolute certainty that there were people counting on him to come home alive. Some warriors were born, others were forged, but the most dangerous ones were simply those who had learned that winning wasn't about glory. It was about being the last one standing when the dust settled. And humanity, the Galactic Council was beginning to understand, had an awful lot of dust-covered veterans,